This is an overview of the accountability system in DRC Iraq. The video is intended for training purposes, and we're going to start with the non-sensitive complaint and feedback report available online. This report is live data coming directly from the registration form of non-sensitive complaints. The data can be filtered by location, by dates. It can also be searched by project code and filtered by sectors. You can see here the amount of complaints done each quarter, registered each quarter, and how many of them are closed or open. As well, in the following pages, having a look at how many of the sectors have the largest amount of complaints. You can see that livelihoods and cash are big players, and as well as looking at the reason for the complaints. Here you can see the request for support and request for information and the major source of feedbacks, whereas complaints have a small proportion overall. You can also have a look at the disaggregation when this is not anonymous on gender and age group. At the same time, you have a quick look at the amount of cases collected the last 30 days and the most popular channels used. You can see that SMSs and hotlines are the major channel used. So how is this achieved? Currently in Iraq, we receive more or less 4,100 complaints a year with an overall cost of $65,000. The team is comprised of 3 members, 1 female in KRI, 1 male in the north, 1 male in the south. They have a structure inside, and each of them has a unique geographical area they're responsible for. They have to be sure that the complaint lines in these areas are working and on the designated times, and that there's enough complaint cards, leaflets, and posters in each of the centers, locations, and distribution sites, as well as making sure that each of the complaints are followed up and the complaint boxes are regularly checked. Overall, this has a cost of $15 per closed or referred complaint. So the process itself lies in the 8 channels that we have available: the phone lines, emails, Viber, WhatsApp, complaint boxes, the face-to-faces, and the SMSs. All of them, doesn't matter where they come from, have to be registered in the unique digital form. This produces a unique ID, which helps with the classification and defining the level of urgency, as well as having a clear follow-up of each of the cases, as well as providing proper statistics. If the case is found to be sensitive, it will not be using this form. It will be using a unique registration form, which is encrypted and we'll be defining if it goes to a COC case or a management case. If the case is non-sensitive, it will be either referred or put in a waiting list with a key message. The key messages are, for example, if I call and ask for assistance and the location and where I'm at doesn't have an assistance by DRC, you can be waitlisted and later for a future project can be contacted. Or if it will be having a project in that location later on, it can be assessed by the team. The referrals take a bit longer. They are between 5 to 24 days, whereas the key messages and waiting list are immediately closed. There's 4 indicators for this process for success. The first one and the most important is the level of awareness by the people. The beneficiaries currently sitting at 39%. Only 39% of them are aware of the complaint mechanism. Our objective is 80. The second one is the level of satisfaction. The third one is the amount of complaints registered by quarter. And the fourth one is the date elapsed, the times of days elapsed from registration to closure. Currently sitting at 34. Our objective is 24. This data comes from the first 2 indicators, from the 3 accountability questions under each meal survey, and the second 2 come from statistics derived from a registration form. This system has 2 unique features, which is the registration form and the key message waiting list. And it has 2 big challenges. The first one is respecting the privacy on the follow-up process and information sharing, clearly reflected in the low level of awareness. And to tackle this last point, we have worked to set up focal points in each of the teams. Each of the focal points have these 5 responsibilities. For example, they have to make sure that all the team members are trained in the accountability SOPs, weekly review and respond to complaints registered, provide accountability staff with information about their projects and which locations they are in, so they can be properly referred, and making sure every awareness session and every training or induction